Introduction. Controlling all records created by the organization is the responsibility of the Government or Business Records and Archives Agency. Current records must be preserved and maintained by the record officer in the various departments. After a certain amount of time, the current state will expire and be replaced with a semi-current status. Semi-current data must be stored in a data center. If there are too many semi-current records, the record center will become clumsy. Some documents must be kept for legal reasons. In their own department, it is tough and expensive to manage. The Records Center is an important part of any records and archives organization. It serves as the administration's physical base and operations center, as well as facilitating administrative and intellectual management over the organization's documents. It is critical that the Records Center be used properly by the organization, and that the Records Center policies are clear and suitable. When establishing a Records Center, the following policy problems must be addressed, like location, transport, ICT, staffing, accommodation, authority, service levels and cost. Policy and quality is important to many criteria in the operation of a record center. Lack of policy framework on document management and destruction and inadequate skilled personnel among others. It is essential for any firm to adopt record management policy and systematically maintain records. Record management is vital because it makes the records easier to find and makes them accessible at the proper moment. Obviously, it is utterly meaningless to keep enormous volumes of data and information if we can't have access to documents that we need precisely and fast. The paper-based document business process has many weaknesses. For example, paper-based documents can be lost or easily forged and risk being transferred through many different media, including mail, fax, and so on. Therefore, we need an electronic document repository system for eliminating the weakness of the paper document system. The Records Center is one of the primary instruments of the Records and Archives Institution, and it is an essential component of a government or business's capital investment program. It is critical for the organization to make effective use of the Records Center and for Records Center policies to be clear and suitable. Records Center serves as a vital link between the Records and Archives Institution and the organizations that create and use records. It offers clean, safe, and well-organized high-density storage for semi-current documents that are kept for administrative or operational purposes or for future review. This frees up important space in agencies and strategy and management issues. Recruitment and retention of professionals to increase staffing. To care for semi-current records. A storage facility for semi-current is expensive. Cannot be overemphasized. Policies and quality. Policies. Lack of policy on Records Center. Most of the valuable records are digitally distributed. The Records Center is responsible for dealing with all client data, and the Records Center can have problems handling all records without competent supervision and policy. Quality. Facility for low-quality record storage. Quality of customer service in critical condition. A Records Center will have problems in offering good service and good quality due to inadequate costs. Issues or problem in. Firstly, technology. Employee productivity measurement. Digital industry conference platforms. Too much focus on automation phishing sites. Second, digitization. Data backup and recovery. And last, security. Data privacy. Mobile security. Cybersecurity threats. Operation. Poor management. Poor use of equipment. Inefficient use of space. Development. Decentralization. Location. Means of transport. Maintenance. Continuous availability of conventional datasets. Understand and analyze big data. Environment that is continuously changing and structural issues. Suggestion. The present status inside each of the user agencies, particularly in their records offices, must be known to the Records Center employees. The first step in the service is to determine which records should be moved to the Records Center. The fundamental statistics of their section of the service in connection to any given creative agency should constantly be known and stated by records personnel. The Records Center workers must be aware of the current situation inside each of the user agencies, particularly in their records offices. The initial stage in the process is to figure out which records should be transferred to the records center. Records employees should always be aware of and report the basic statistics of their area of the service in relation to each specific creative agency. The primary function of the records center is to store records for the agreed upon period of time. Storage should take up the majority of the area in the structure. Developing the necessary policies to manage and enhance the quality of the information recorded. Secondly, the Record Center policy understands how essential and secret information for a firm is and provides managed record protection. Thirdly, engagement in quality of services through management of records and creators of records. And the last one, the use of skilled, appropriate personnel to handle record administration has also been advocated in order to improve professionalism and thereby minimize the problem of non-compliance. The use of paper for documentation and management is a traditional method and has many disadvantages such as easy data loss due to disasters, the use of a lot of paper, and requires a large space to store data. Therefore, digitization was introduced in the management of electronic document repository system and file structure for electronic document repository. When using electronic documents, organizations can reduce paper costs, save document storage space, and electronic documents can be backed up in a safe place by remote mirroring system. Operations need to establish an appropriate administrative structure to increase efficiency of management. For development, in big nations, or in countries where the government is decentralized, or if record-creating agencies are widely dispersed, it will almost certainly be required to construct decentralized records centers at places convenient for certain sets of agencies, such as branches or regions. For maintenance of the record center, the cloud platform used in this case is Google Cloud. Google Cloud caters to a wide spectrum of clientele, including independent contractors and small enterprises. A records management function in any organization should be placed strategically if records have to play a meaningful role in organizational strategic directions and overall national development. When it comes to digital preservation techniques, there is no obvious winner thus far. A specific technique may be ideal for one file type but useless for another. Policy and quality. Record Center development required guidelines to guide and improve record management. A record manager must be appointed to oversee the development and implementation of record management and policy among other duties for the management of records. Record Center policy ensures that records of organizations remain secure, safe, and controlled, and accessible. Type of digitization. Electronic document repository system. Collecting envelope data. Logging users' interaction. Delivery message service. Document watermarking. Backup and restore. File structure. Transference of digital document. Metadata information. File access control information. The keys to a good records management system ensure that the necessary competences are established, a categorization scheme is developed, a metadata model is defined, record management is represented, quality control employees are leveraged, regulatory feedback is invited and stakeholders are included. The Records Center as part of the archival institution was best positioned inside the Records and Archive institution structure. The center, which provided a physical basis and operating center for the administration, was regarded as a vital element in the institution of records and archives. The data center also provides administrative and intellectual records control. Cloud computing use. Cloud is a platform enabling people to exchange and retrieve information from the internet remotely. In carrying out distributed computing activities, the cloud plays a notable role. Today, every multinational company relies on cloud computing because of its ability to access data from any part of the Conclusion. The conclusion that can be drawn is that the operation of the record center is developed so that the data stored manually can be digitized so that the data is more secure, easily accessible, can save storage space and more. To develop it, various strategies need to be planned and taken into account such as strategic and organizational management, policy and quality, especially ISO, planning, designing and operating center infrastructure to be developed, use of technology, digitization and security need to be studied, and the last is how the implementation of operations, development and maintenance will be done. All these aspects need to be taken into account and scrutinized in order to achieve optimal goals. The Record Center needs to adapt and integrate technological innovation.